4 SCVs, although there are 5 mules, and now at third base. He never did burrow that Zergling at that third base, so that command center is actually going to be able to land, I do believe, so it's going to be a little too bad, unless he's able to react to this quickly enough.
Oh, he does drive. Muta's going in there to harass, so don't know if he'll be able to take that out.
This is going to be a good time for the Zerg player to counterattack, as the entire Terran army is going to be caught out of position.
Oh, there he goes.
And here he goes. And watch this. The Zerg player is going to move right on in. Might just bomb all these units, lock everything off, and just make it impossible for the Terran player to react and recover. Will he focus down the command center with the Banelings, or just go right for the SCVs and workers?
Oh, he burrowed some Baneling bombs. Let's see if Terran falls for that. Oh, no!
Oh, this is going to hurt real bad. Oh my
Jesus.
God. Oh,
beautiful Baneling play. I have to say, that was impressive.
That was extremely...
Oh, and he didn't raise those supply depots. Oh, his main is super jeopardized because he's going to get all these SCVs.
Wow, and that was all she wrote right there. That was, I mean, Shib couldn't help but scream out boom at the end of that, and neither could we. That was just 3 Banelings just wiped out what had to be 90% of that Marine force there in just one explosion. That was a beautiful thing as a Zerg player to see. Sad to see for the Terrans, of course. And now Terran players going to have to go all in, bringing down some siege tanks, medevacs, Marines, but the supply, 123 to 54, and here comes the Zerglings swarming in. Muta's comeback, a fungal growth to make matters worse.
That's going to be GG from the Terran. There's no way off one base with no... Yeah, that's it.
One SCV left for the Terran player. He's lost it all. Good game to Shib. So Shib showing his chops here. Not just a cheese player who can throw down proxy hatches outside your natural. He can go and play a good macro game against a Terran opponent and take him down. So he'll move on. Yeah,
I was going to say that. I love seeing good Baneling play, and that was absolutely beautiful. Just, snap decision to bury those Banelings and just take out the entire bio army, and I just left the siege tanks with. Against Mutas and Infestors, there's no hope.
Absolutely not. So a very good game there, and we'll get back to more games in just a minute, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Mostacular, and I'm joined by Ramen. Thanks for jumping in with me, and we'll see if we can get Norm Chan back later on today, and if not, we'll just keep on going. We're moving right along, although I believe the losers bracket a little bit behind.
Oh, losers bracket is my home, so...
Looks like we'll be getting a game in just a moment here with Calyx and his opponent. Looks like he's trying to mesh on him right now. We'll be good to go with that. So let's try to even things out. All right, I'm going to put some tunes back on, guys. So we'll be back with a game in probably 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, we're back. We are ready to get into our next game, and it's going to be Shib, once again, the Purple Zerg. He's going against Calyx, one of our longtime players at the Giantbomb community tournaments and beyond. He's the Red Protoss, so a ZVP here on Tal'Darim Altar, one of the recently added maps to the pool. Have you had a chance to play this map much yet?
Yeah, actually, me and Thule do get together every once in a while to play a couple games. He completely outclasses me, but this map is so big and there's so many bases. It's just it makes for great macro games. It looks like we do have cross spots as well, so hopefully we'll see another good game like we did last time.
Absolutely. And so, are you one of our Euro players who jumped over today?
Oh no! I'm from California, dude.
Okay. So I was just wondering because I know Thule has a U.S. account now, I guess, but he's typically played Euro for the longest time. So
Yeah, he is from I believe the Netherlands. Yeah,
nice.
so yeah, he does jump on every once in a while when I ask him to if he wants to just completely own me.
Well, very good of him to do that. Yeah, Thule always very good for hosting those European tournaments. So make sure you guys in the European scene check those tournaments out as well. He's been doing those monthly also, so they're always fantastic fun. And back to the game at hand, like you said, we do have a cross positions here on Tal'Darim. Calyx in the bottom left position is the red Protoss, and Shib in the upper right is the purple Zerg. And we just saw a really strong ZVT from Shib, so looking forward to seeing another one from him, or perhaps we'll just see him throw down a proxy hatchery once again, but I think Calyx would probably be able to deal with that as both these players are high level.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a Forge going down for the Protoss player. Could be Forge Fast Expand with these with such a big map. One thing I'd like to point out, same as the last map with the random player, is that this map is so big that you have to send out your Overlord and a drone to see where your opponent is because it's such a big map. You have to find out where they are. And it looks like we do have a Fast Expand going from the Zerg player. So, like I said, with such a big map, it's so hard to do a rush.
Yeah, and it looks like Calyx is in no hurry to rush either, planning a cannon and a gateway down at his wall here, so he's definitely not going to try anything cheesy either. He wants to get his expansion up as early as possible, and he's going to be only more encouraged now that he's seen the 15 hatchery from Shib, so he's definitely going to be eager to just continue macroing up himself. So definitely Shib going to be a great macro game here on Tal'Darim. I'm excited about this one. And I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I would like to see some more Infestor play from our Zerg players today. With that most recent patch, 1.3, Infestors do fantastic with their fungal growth. It's now 4 seconds duration instead of 8, which means the damage is dealt out much faster over a shorter period of time. And also, against armored units, you do an additional 30% damage, which against Stalkers and Colossus is fantastic. So that's a typical Protoss army composition, is Stalkers and Colossus. So if you can get some good fungal growths on, you're in really good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the biggest reasons Blizzard put that in is because, mid-game to late game, Zerg was having... Oh no, he lost that drone. That actually could spell... With the Fast Expand, that could spell a bit of trouble, but, it's not too much of a trouble because they're both going Fast Expand, so that one drone isn't going to make that big of a difference. But as I was saying, I'm pretty sure the reason that Blizzard put that in there is because Zerg was having so much trouble with ZVP, statistically, Zerg was not having too much success against Protoss, and they wanted to give Zerg some kind of edge against the mostly armored units of Protoss.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting choice on their part. I mean, they removed Khydaran Amulet, one of the huge upgrades for the Protoss casting unit, spell casting unit, and then actually buffed the Zerg casting unit. So definitely some controversy there. I know Han was not too happy about that. We saw him play earlier. He did end up winning his game against a Terran player without having Khydaran Amulet. Very well played game, actually, against, I believe his name was, I can't remember his name now, it was a C something. And he used Storm very effectively despite not having Khydaran Amulet, but that's definitely going to be something that Protoss players are going to have to adjust to. That was
one of those things where, that's one of the things I pointed out earlier, where he got that, the Templar tech much quicker than he normally would with Khydaran because he wanted to have those charged up zealots that much quicker. Yeah, and it looks like we do have a hidden probe up here. Does Shib see that? He doesn't in the top.
Yeah, I see that there by the rocks, and he's actually destroying those rocks now. Shib perhaps thinking about taking a early third base since he can tell his Protoss opponent. And that's exactly what you want to do with Zerg, is when you see your Protoss opponent walling off in such a way that he's going to be playing a heavy macro 2 base, you needed to get to 3 bases as quickly as possible to stay 1 base up, because you never want to be on the same number of bases as a Protoss opponent if you can help it, and that's exactly what Shib is planning to do.
Yeah, that's one of the general rules of thumb with Zerg, is that you have to always want to be 1 base up on your opponent, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and Calyx moving that probe out, and the probe did see those Zerglings destroying those rocks, so Calyx is going to know that his Zerg opponent is going to be walling off, or not walling off, taking a third base, so he could potentially change his mind and decide to go and do some kind of transition attack, because he knows his opponent's going to be macroing up, but I doubt that. I think he's probably going to be more comfortable macroing up himself. And now the probe is in the base and is taken down by the queen as the lair finishes for the Zerg player. So Spire immediately going down. So we're going to see some Spire play in a ZVP. Very nice. You don't see mutas all that often in Protoss. It's kind of a hit or miss.
Yeah, definitely. Well, most people, I don't see most people do Brood Lords because against Blink Stalker, they're completely useless. They just blink out on the Brood Lords and they're done. Mutas are good for harassment, but with too many Stalkers, mutas just kind of get annihilated.
Excuse me, I should say, you typically see Spire play later in ZVP. You see it come out when Colossus are on the way, and you see Corruptors. But with such an early Spire going down before any other lair tech, it's almost a sure sign of Mutalisks at this point. So, it's going to be some muta play, most likely. And you're right there, that Blink really shuts down, if it's researched, and looks like it could be, as the Twilight Council is in production, it could really shut down those Brood Lords that would come late game.
Looks like we're getting late speed. I'm not sure if it's late speed with all these, hatcheries, but he is getting Zergling upgrades. But with the Spire, he could be going Mutaline Bane. And against Protoss, that can be effective if done correctly. But Banelings aren't always the best choice against Protoss because they're almost all armored. So we'll have to see what Shib wants to do with this build order. And it looks like Protoss players pushing out with quite a bit of Stalkers, and he looks like he's going to be able to take out these two Overlords, which Will's supply block are. Oh, never mind. He actually just got another Overlord out. So
that was close, though. However, and actually now the Zerg player is close to supply block, so he needs to get more Overlords in production. But this Stalker force needs to be careful with Zergling speed almost finished. There's a big pack of Zerglings in the base right now. Those Zerglings could surround those Stalkers relatively easily, and that'd be the end of it. And now the mutas moving across the left side of the map, they're going in for some harassment, and there are no cannons in the mineral line. And with those Stalkers out of position, those mutas could do horrible damage, and actually could end the game right now if they do enough damage.
This is quite a scary number of Stalkers here, so it looks like he might have enough Zerglings to deal with ball. Blink is just going to pay huge dividends with these Stalkers here. So
this could be it. Here come the mutas back to the natural of the Protoss player, and this is going to be very serious. Those Stalkers are so out of position, even with Blink. It's going to take them all day to get back down here. There's 3 Stalkers here, but that's not enough for that many mutas. And now Calyx's probe count is going to be in huge trouble. Let's look at the worker killed count here as it goes. 17 workers killed, 18. Probes are being transferred back and forth, but this is just devastating right now. I believe the Stalkers have caught up.
Yeah, it's now 48 drones to 21 probes. That's more than double. So Protoss is going to have quite a bit to come back from. He might just go for an all-in from here. He knows he's so far behind. He's chrono boosting out pros, but I don't know if that's the best decision. He should just chrono boost out some units. I'm not really sure what he can do from here. That was a huge amount of damage that Zerg just did.
Yeah, he could consider keeping up the pressure, but it's going to be so hard for him to move out now. He needs to throw some photon cannons down on his mineral line, but those mutas are going to keep those Stalkers kind of nervous. He's going to be really hesitant to move out. Otherwise, those Stalkers could do decent. I mean, speed Zerglings really do shut down Stalkers, even with Blink, relatively easily, but at the same time, there aren't that many Zerglings compared to that number of Stalkers, so if he micros it properly, he could potentially take them out. But it's going to be those Mutalisks that are really going to keep Calyx kind of wedged back here, and he still actually hasn't put down cannons. Many cannons at all in his mineral line. He's got one in his main, but that's about it.
Yeah, it looks like he's sitting on these rocks too, so he might just try to catch up by putting another base down, but I'm not sure if he can... I can't be too sure. Zerg is so far ahead right now that he can pretty much just sit back, expand, and get even more ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Starport is going down now, but Hydralisks are coming out for the Zerg player. Very good transition because with all those mutas, he's probably expecting more Stalkers are going to come out, and Hydras absolutely own Stalkers. So a good transition coming from the Zerg player. Kind of a nice blink there. Just really scares off the mutas, though. Not able to actually get underneath of them and do the most damage. And now Phoenix coming out, and that's really not the best choice right now. Phoenix do excellent against mutas, but when there are already 8-9 mutas on the field, transitioning into Phoenix is just not going to do any good, as the mutas are going to be able to pick them off relatively easily. We're probably going to see that happen in just a moment here.
Yeah, and that makes short work. Oh, it looks like he is going to be able to hold on to that, Phoenix. But, if he keeps up muta production, that'd be good as well. But with those Hydras, one thing Protoss can do... Oh, looks like he is putting Hydras into those Overlords, so we might be going for a sort of Gelizer Hydra Drop.
Hydro drops are extremely effective because of the DPS. Hydras, when they're so weak, but their DPS is so high that they actually make decent. And I don't do this often enough. They do decent job dropping.